This field is so nice. And oh, I think I put the board a little bit too far from everyone. Hold on a second. There we go. That's more like it. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream today. Today, we're going to be learning about short quoting forms. Now, there are already quoting forms that you can use in Korean to say a statement, like I said something is. Or you can quote commands, like I said do it. Or you can quote a suggestion. Yeah, I said, let's go to the store after school. You can also quote questions. Not I said, but I asked. Like, hey, I just asked you where it is. So there are four main types of quoting forms. There's the statement, question, command, and suggestion quoting form. But there are shorter versions also of those four main quoting forms that are faster to say, but have otherwise the exact same meaning. So I'm going to give you one example first. We're going to start with the most basic, and that is the statement quoting form. A statement is just anything that you say that's not a question. Like if you have 하다, you might be familiar with this. 하다 becoming 한다고 말했어요. Like I said, I am doing it. You might also have the past tense. So 했다고 말했어요. I said I did it. Or you can do future tense. 할 거라고. I said I will do it. You should already be familiar with this sort of quoting before starting today's lesson, because today's lesson is the same thing, but a shorter way of saying it. You take the plain form of a verb. So 하다 would become 한다. 먹다 would become 먹는다, which can be made by taking a verb stem and either attaching just a nian if it ends in a vowel, or 는 if it ends in a consonant. And then normally you would do 타고. But for the shortened version, instead of 타고, you can attach 태요. 태요. 미세대요. That's all I can sing before I get copyright strike. This 태요 is just a shortened version of the original form 타고 해요. 타고 해요, 다 해요, 다 해요, 태요. It's just a shortened version. I don't know what sound effect that was supposed to be, but it's short now. So if you have 하다, normally you'd get 한다. So 한다고 해요, 한다고 했어요. I said 한다, I'm doing it, whatever it is, or whatever verb you're doing. 먹는다, for eating. 먹는다고 했어요. I said, 했어요, said that I am 먹는다, I am eating. But now you get a shorter version of the exact same meaning. 먹는다고 해요 can become 먹는대요. 그건 영희가 한대요. 그것은. So as for that thing, 영희가 한대요. So this is a shortened version of saying 한다고 말해요, which is shortened usually just to 한다고 해요. Or you could even say 한다고요. 그건 영희가 한다고요. So 영희 says 한대요. She says that she's 하다. She's doing it. She's gonna do it. Remember, the present tense doesn't have to only mean am doing. It can also mean will do. One more sentence. 영수는, so our friend 영수, 안 간대요. 안 가다, to not go. 안 간다, not going. Plain form. 영수 says 안 간다. 안 간다고 해요. 영수는 안 간다고 해요. 영수는 안 간대요. Youngsu says, or in English you could also say Youngsu said, he's not going. There also is past tense with this form, or future tense. So let me show you first the past tense. What is the past tense of this? 한다고 했어요. Someone said, right? I said 한다고 해요 becomes 한대요. So then, if you don't know, what could this shorten to? Take a guess. I'll bet you that you're going to be right. 한 됐어요. Because it is a shortened version of 한다고 했어요. There's also the future tense. So 할 거라고 해요. 할 거라고 했어요. 할 거라고 안 했어요. I didn't say I will do it. What could 할 거라고 해요 shorten to get a short quoting form? This one shortens to 할 거라고 해요 becomes 할 거래, and then if you want to be polite, 할 거래요. 할 거래요. To summarize, you might see this form in 태요 for present tense, 됐어요 for the past tense, or 매요 after call for the future tense. What if you wanted to make a quote to say, I said something is, or I said I am, or he or she is? Normally, you would do that with this form. Noun plus 이라고, or just 라고 if it ends with a vowel, 이라고 if it ends in a consonant, and then 하다. We can shorten this. since we just did this with our future tense example, it's the same thing. But you might see 이래요 if it ends in a consonant. 한국 사람이래요. 한국 사람, a Korean person, 이다, 이래요. So this is the same as saying 이라고 말해요. 한국 사람이래요. 할아버지가 100년 전에 지은 집이랬어요. 할아버지, grandfather. 100년 전에, 100 years ago. 짓다, to build. 지은, 집. So a house that he built 100 years ago, 이랬어요. I had said in the past. I said, 할아버지가 100년 전에 지은 집이랬어요. I said that it's a house that grandfather built 100 years ago. This was just so far the ways to say statements. But there are 3 other forms we still have to talk about. Commands, questions, and suggestions. Because you can also make a sentence like this. I said, hurry up and come out. You're saying, I said do something. Or I said, everyone be quiet. You know, you're giving a command here. That's the next form we're going to talk about. Normally, you would have a form like this. Action verb stem, 으라고 after a consonant or 라고 after a vowel, and then 하다. So you would get 해요. So if you had the verb 하다, you would get 하라고 했어요, for example. I said do it. 빨리 하라고요. I said hurry up and do it. There's also a shortened version of this. Can you guess what it might be? What do you think the shortened version is going to look like? 레요. But notice that it's not just 레요, like 이다. It's not 이래요. It's 레요. Because the form is 라고. So if you have the verb 하다, 하래요. But if you have the verb 먹다, to eat, you would get 먹으래요. 빨리 나오래요. 빨리, quickly, 빨리 나오래요. I said hurry up and come out. This is the same as saying 빨리 나오라고 했어요. 빨리 나오라고요. 모두, everyone, 조용히 하래요. Literally, do it quietly. I said, 하라고 했어요. 하라고요. 하라고. All the same thing in meaning. 하래, 하래요. 모두 조용히 하래요. I told everyone to be quiet. The next one is a question form. This one wouldn't be I said as much as it is asked. This would normally be a shortened version of what you would get with a verb stem, 냐고, for question, 해요. Also, instead of 해요, you might see 물어보다, to ask. So literally, I asked 냐고. Question, whatever the question is, as a quote. So you get verb stem, 냐요. It sounds funny, right? But that's what you get. That's what you get. So let me do an example. 왜 샀냐요? Why are you buying it? 왜 샀냐고 했어요. 사냐고 했어요. 왜 사냐고 했어요. 왜 샀냐요? You don't necessarily need to say 왜 샀냐어요. Like, hey, I had asked you why you bought it. Most of the time, you're fine just saying, I asked. The quote is that I asked is, why are you buying it? You don't need to specify, I asked that, just here's what I already said. Why are you buying it, in quotes. So if it helps, imagine that whenever you're using these shortened forms, not just 냐요 or 레요 or 대요, not just these, but also the regular shortened form, 냐고, 한다고, 일하고, just those shortened forms as well, it can help to just imagine that you're putting quotes around what you're saying and that's it. So, why are you buying it? This would be very useful if someone asks you, what'd you say? Why are you buying it? 추운데, it's cold. 아이스크림은 ice cream. 왜 먹냐요? 먹다, to eat. So I ask, it's cold, but why are you eating ice cream? You get that emphasis, ice cream, by using the topic marker here instead of just the object marker. 추운데 아이스크림은 왜 먹냐요? There's one more form that we need to talk about, and that is for making suggestions. So I said, let's go. The normal version is you take an action verb stem and you just attach 자고 해요. What do you think this becomes? So you get an action verb stem plus 해요. Let's do an example sentence. 철수가 다 같이 가재요. 철수, our friend 철수, 다 같이, all together. 가재요, 가자고 해요. 가자고, 가자고요. 가자고 했어요. Says, let's go. 비가 오니까 집에 있재요. 비가 오다, to rain. So 비가 오니까, because it's raining, 집에 있재요. So let's stay, 있다, to stay. Let's stay at home because it's raining. 비가 오니까 집에 있재요. So because it's raining, let's just stay at home. But there's still one more thing I need to talk about. It's not a separate form. This is a part of the command form. When you have a verb and you get 라고 해요, it can shorten to become 레요, as we learned, or 으래요. If the verb you're working with is one specific verb, 주다, then you have two options you can do with this. Now, this is the same as usual. When you're doing regular quoting forms, 주다 can become two different forms, 주라고 or 달라고. 주라고 in this shortened form, you get 주라고 해요, so you'd get 주래요. And 달라고 해요, you would get 달래요. So I said give something, both of these have that meaning. 달라고 is going to be the one you're going to use 90% of the time. 달라고 or 달래요 is going to be used whenever the speaker, the person asking to give them something, is also the one who's getting that item. So if someone says, what did you say? I said, please give me the salt. I said, give me. Anytime you are, or the person speaking is, the same person who's receiving something they're asking for, use 달래요. Anytime the speaker is not the one getting something, so I said give 철수, or 철수 said give me, then you use 주래요, or 주라고. 동생이 사탕을 사달래요. So this would be normally the 동생, the younger sister or younger brother would say, 사탕, candy, 사주세요. Please buy me. So they said, please buy me. 사주다. 사달라고 했어요. 사달래요. 동생이 사탕을 사달래요. So my younger sibling said to buy them candy. And that is the end of our lesson. Thanks for coming. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.